Madam Speaker, my office has received none, unless they are from political parties. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaso. Now, honorable members, may we now consider the agenda before us? Would anyone want to move for the adoption of the agenda?
Good morning. I move, Honorable Speaker. Good morning, Speaker and colleagues. Singh here.
Thank you, Honorable Singh. Seconder?
Sheikh Imam, thank you.
Honorable Sheikh Imam, thank you very much. Yes, honorable members, we now consider the minutes of the 17th of November. Would you flag them, please, Mr. Mbanga? The minutes of the meeting of the 17th.
They are working on it, ma'am. It will come up now. Colleagues,
Okay.
please. A minute.
Okay. Anyway, those of you who have read your minutes, the minutes as distributed to members, seeing that there's a delay, is there any problem with the minutes? Any amendments? Any observations you've made on the minutes? Are they a true reflection? Okay. Anyone want to move for the adoption of the minutes?
I move, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Singh. Any seconders, honorable members? Wait. So, Chief Whip, it's me who's the problem. Sorry, I did not press the icon here, which shows me the hands which are raised. I'm sorry. Honorable Chief Whip.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Good morning to you and all the colleagues. I second the minutes as a true reflection. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chief Whip. Honorable, lower the hand. Yeah. Now we proceed then to deal with matters arising. Matters arising, there is the electoral amendment bill. The committee section will provide an update on that matter, on the progress made when they present their report. And then when we deal with the draft parliamentary program framework for 2023, which is another matter arising, that matter will then be presented. Remember, it was presented last week and has been distributed to all members in preparation for. Are there any other matters arising which I've not touched? It seems none, honorable members. Then we proceed, honorable members, to deal with Ms. Kiba.
Thank you and good morning, Madam Speaker, and good morning to all the honorable members and my colleagues. I present the report of the committee section, bills before the National Assembly committees. Before I start with slide number 3, Madam Speaker, I will just give progress on the electoral amendment bill. The Select Committee on Justice and Security of the NCOP is still deliberating on the bill, as I reported last week, that there are proposed amendments on the bill, and the NCOP will still schedule that bill for the 29th of November Both processes are being monitored, and we will advise the Portfolio Committee on Home Affairs once the bill has been returned to the National Assembly. We are closely monitoring that process. Moving to slide number 3. On slide number 3, I wish to present that there is a bill before the Portfolio Committee on Social Development, Children's Amendment Bill. That bill has been returned by the NCOP. The committee has been granted approval to meet on the 30th of November, a date by which they will finalize the bill. And on slide number 17, a matter before the Portfolio Committee on Communication on SABC appointments. The committee is finalizing its recommendations on the nominations for the persons or on the SABC board today. The report will be published as soon as they are done. And then on the last reporting slide, Madam Speaker, there's an international agreement that was before Standing Committee on Finance that was finalized on the 22nd of November. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Giba. Honorable members, that was the report from the committee section. Any questions? I see no hands. Oh, I see the hand of the Chief Whip of the Majority Party.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. We welcome this report. And as we said in the previous meeting, that we'll be on standby as the National Assembly should a need arises that there are serious amendments by the NCOP with regard to electoral reforms. Because as a matter of fact, we must finalize the electoral reforms before the date of the 10th. So I just want to put on record that should there be a need, we will have to convene as the NA, but I hope the Portfolio Committee on Home Affairs will look at the matter as soon as possible, immediately when NCOP is dealt with the matter. But I just want us to be on the alert that we don't have time if it means extending our dates of business as a National Assembly. Will have to do that so as to not to be seen as defying the court date, which is the 10th of December. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chief Whip. Any other comments, honorable members? I'm sure you've all noted what the Chief Whip is raising, that we will stand by to receive the report from the NCOP. Because I think the deadline, constitutional court deadline is what, the 10th, am I right?
The 10th of December, Madam Speaker.
It is the 10th of December, correct. And we should not be seen to be, we shouldn't be in contempt of court, whatever we decide to do about this whole issue. Thank you very much, Chief Whip, and we now proceed to receive a report from the Bill's Office from Dr. Mbata and Advocate Van der Merwe.
Good morning, Honorable Speaker and honorable members. Thank you for the opportunity. I will only report on recent updates, which is in Section A, Item 7. The Committee on Police reported on the protection of constitutional democracy against terrorist and related activities amendment bill. The committee reported on the bill with amendments and is now B15B of 2022. And the report is on the order paper for consideration next week, Tuesday. Honorable Speaker, I must say the Bill's Office is also processing the second official translation of this bill. In Section C, my colleague, Ms. Giba, has already given updates on this bill, which is the Children's Amendment Bill. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, Parliament passed the Drugs and Drug Trafficking Amendment Bill. The bills have been sent to the President for assent, and its second official language is Afrikaans. And the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill has also been passed and is to be sent to the President. And the second official language of this bill is isiZulu. Thank you. I'll hand over to Advocate van der Merwe. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Dr. Mbata, Advocate van der Merwe.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and good morning to all the members. Just to confirm from the Legal Services Office, we have a presentation on the Constitutional Court judgments and progress more specifically on these judgments. The first matter that I want to speak to, or maybe let me just first indicate that we also circulated a report that speaks to all the judgments. The presentation itself is only on those matters where there are, in fact, some progress. So the first one that I would like to speak to is the matter of the Women's Legal Centre Trust versus the President of the Republic of South Africa. This is the matter that deals specifically with marriages concluded in terms of religious principles and that are not covered by law, specifically Muslim marriages. The Department of Home Affairs have actually confirmed now that a bill has in fact been drafted. They are busy with consultations in the various government clusters. They are working with the Department of Justice. They are working with the South African Law Reform Commission on that draft. And they've also submitted it to the Office of the Chief State Law Advisor for a preliminary opinion. Now, that is a requirement in terms of the rules of the National Assembly. And the department is targeting introducing the bill in the 2023-2024 financial year. And that if it is early in that year, it should be sufficient time for the houses to consider the bill. The next one is the Drugs and Drug Trafficking Act. And this is the matter of Smith versus Minister of Justice. And very good news, the Drugs and Drug Trafficking Amendment Bill was in fact passed by the National Council of Provinces on the 22nd of November 2022, and it can be sent to the President for assent. So it is very likely that that deadline will be made even by the President's office. On the next slide, if we can move to the next slide, the Correctional Services Act. This was a bit of a concern the last time that we met. The department asked for an extension, and in fact, the Constitutional Court did not even ask for verbal argument. That it considered on the papers, and on the papers, the Constitutional Court granted an extension to the 2nd of December 2023. Our office has followed up with the department because we cannot afford to have a similar situation as happened this year. And the department has confirmed that the challenge on that matter is the entity that has to be created, a National Treasury's view on how that entity must be managed. But they will approach National Treasury again for a final directive, and then they will introduce a bill in one form or the other by February 2023, which will allow both houses to consider the bill. The last matter that I want to speak to is the Electoral Act. And we've already heard from two presenters in regarding to the deliberations in the Select Committee on this matter. And the Select Committee is confident that it will make the deadlines that they have set for themselves. That was also confirmed by the committee's report. We understand that the National Assembly and the Portfolio Committee is on standby and will do what it needs to do in order to process those amendments. I think it is just also prudent to alert that there might be some amendments that are considered to be material in nature, and they may require a call for comments. In that event, Parliament will have to apply for an extension of the court deadline. So there is a bit of pressure on this matter. At this stage, our office cannot start a process for requesting an extension of the deadline. We need an instruction to do so, and we are all waiting for the process in the Select Committee to be completed. Thank you. That is all from us on the progress matters. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you very much, Dr. van der Merwe. Dr. Mbata and Advocate van der Merwe. Now that was the report. Honorable members, I see the hand of Honorable Singh.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Advocate and Dr. Mbata, for the report. Advocate, I would like to know if perhaps you can just take us let us know where the one-year judgment is in terms of the department and the amendments that the court wanted us to look at. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Singh. Honorable Kwakube.
Thanks, Speaker. I just wanted to find out from Advocate van der Merwe. There has been some talk about obviously the electoral amendment bill coming back to the NA, and I hear you talking about now if there are material issues or material amendments that need to be done. Now, and an extension that would have to be requested from the courts. While I understand the process can't start now, I just need to understand what then will be the implications of that in terms of 2024. Should we have to request an extension from the Concords? And in addition, it's just a matter of clarity that I think it was last week or the week before, where there was a talk around perhaps the bill would have to be implemented with the footnote. Can that be explained? I think perhaps it's my lack of understanding of the process. Can a bill be passed and then a footnote be inserted that would say that the bill would have to be reworked again? I thought that once the bill goes to the president for assenting, that's the final process. And so for my clarity, please, can I just get an understanding? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kwakube. Yes, Dr. Mbata.
Speaker, sorry. Thank you very much. If I may answer. Just in respect of the 1 year matter, it is in our report, but I can maybe just indicate that at this point in time, the Department of Justice has actually confirmed that these amendments are being included into a Judicial Matters Amendment Bill. They have prepared it, it's in waiting internal processing, and they are targeting introduction quite soon. It is on the legislative program for 2022. And we have followed up with them on that because it's almost the end of 2022 and we haven't received it yet. But like I said, we have contacted the department, and they have also in writing indicated that they are aware of the challenges that Parliament has, and they will do their best to get the bill to Parliament as soon as possible and to allow Parliament to be able to process that bill. In respect of the questions relating to the electoral amendment bill, the amendments that are coming to the National Assembly, it's not as if the process is starting anew. The Portfolio Committee would be limited to the proposals made by the National Council of Provinces. If there are material amendments, there will have to be a call for comment. That's the only delay that we foresee, that a possible delay. It's not even a given. The Portfolio Committee may decide not to accept those amendments, or there may be a discussion and there might be a decision that it's not material in nature and doesn't have to be advertised. But let's assume that it has to be advertised for purposes of this question. The extension that would be sought would be for a matter of 3 months. The Independent Electoral Commission has in fact also been consulted. So behind the scenes, there's a lot of work being done. They have confirmed that they would not be opposed to any extension. They know what is now expected of them. They can start preparing for the 2024 election. So that will not be affected. It is simply a matter of legislative process that is sometimes just not certain. We don't know what is going to happen. And we have a constitutional duty to consider public inputs. The issue of a footnote, well, in general, we can include footnotes in legislation, but it's normally of an explanatory nature. What is happening now in respect of the review clause is that there is a consideration for the clause, for a clause to be inserted in the bill, or proposal rather, because it's a Section 75 bill, for a clause to be inserted that indicates that there should be a review of the legislation. Now, this is a normal legislative process. In fact, it is actually ideal that all legislation are regularly reviewed. So inserting a clause that says legislation must be reviewed and what the process would be for doing so, giving time limits, that is actually commendable. And it's something that a bill should be done with. So it won't be done as a footnote because that's more explanatory in nature. But if it is done, it will likely be done in the bill itself. in the form of something that we call a transitional provision, although this isn't a transitional provision, but it will be something that will be contained in the amendment bill and not in the act itself. But in any event, either way, which is being done, the drafting behind it is something that we are advising on. But yes, it is possible, and like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. It's actually commendable to indicate that there must be a regular review, and in this instance, there will be a specific review with certain targets. So that is quite normal, and it is possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Advocate. Honorable members, are there any comments, any questions? I think that I don't see hands here. I think that honorable members are comfortable with the reports. You happy? So we are then proceeding to receive a report of the Parliamentary Programming Committee.
Honorable Speaker, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. My apology. May I be allowed not to switch off my video? I've got a terrible network challenge, if I may, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. And good morning, Honorable Speaker, and good morning, honorable members and all colleagues on the platform. In terms of fourth quarter of 2022 program, which is week 33, which we are in now, allow me, Honorable Speaker, not to talk to the areas that we had covered in the previous engagement, in previous meetings, just to register firstly that we didn't have the Chief Whips Forum yesterday. However, what was presented last week, nothing has changed. Safe to say that we did raise these matters, that the police bill, which is related to the grey listing of the country, will be on Tuesday. We have scheduled it for Tuesday, as well as which is as indicated there for the 29th, which is the first reading, its first reading and its second reading. The bill is about from the PC on Portfolio Committee on Police, on the protection of constitutional democracy against terrorists and related activities amendment bill, B15 of 2022, as per ATC in the 18th of November 2022, and its second reading. That's what we have populated there. Secondly, what was outstanding in terms of the 16 days of activity, it was the theme that we are suggesting, having followed due processes in terms of consultation, is the empowering women to resilience against gender-based violence and femicide. That's the theme that we are suggesting, which will be a debate. Thirdly, Chair, what we would like to bring to the notice of the meeting is the IR reports that was populated last week, that we are suggesting that let it be declarations. The responsible member that represent the country or the IR chairperson, house chairperson will make a declaration, will present the report, and the rest of the political parties were suggesting that they make declarations in terms of the allocation of time applies on that. The fourth one is that we are suggesting that on the 1st of December, we start on at 10 o'clock, noting that it will be on Thursday, because we envisage that we're still going to hold our National Assembly Programming Committee meeting. Hence, we are suggesting that we start at 10 o'clock and then we finish as the time stipulated there. As well as on the 6th, which we did agree with an understanding that that's the day when we're going to table the commission in terms of section 89 that will guide, will be dealing with that, which will give then enough time for political parties to prepare for that day. The very last one that would like to talk to, which we have scheduled, is the ad hoc on floods report, which we are suggesting that if you may go through it, is on Tuesday, the coming Tuesday. Yes, the joint on floods and disaster relief and recovery report will be tabled, and we are suggesting that it takes a shape of a debate, borrowing from the Section 25 ad hoc committee, because it is a national important report that is going to be tabled. And in terms of time, I'm not too sure, through your permission, Honorable Speaker, that Mr. Klaso is ready, but we'll work on time so that also don't keep members longer. Where possible, we can just make it a little bit lesser than the Section 25 the time allocation. If there are any gray areas that we have left, Honorable Speaker, I will suggest that through your permission, Mr. Klaso speaks to that. Safe to say that the 2023 framework was presented last week, so which means we are ready to present it in the joint sitting. Thank you very much, Chair. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm done.
I muted myself, yes, and I've been talking. Sorry. Honorable members, are there any comments on the report from Ms. Lisuma? Mr. Kaso?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just on the ad hoc committee report, we would propose that the time allocated for that debate be 77 minutes. On the Section 25 that the Honorable Lisuma has made reference to, we had 118 minutes, but we think that 77 minutes would do in this instance. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Klaso. Honorable members, Chief Whip of the Opposition Party, Ms. Kwakube, yes?
Thanks, Speaker. Just to Mr. Klaso, is the ad hoc report going to be considered differently or separately by the different houses, considering the fact that there was representation for both? I just want to find out if that will be the case and what then that means for the report itself. Thanks.
Kwakube, Mr. Klaso?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The arrangement at the moment is that it will be dealt with separately by the houses. And maybe I just need to highlight this. In terms of the rules, joint sittings do not take decisions. So at the end of the debate, there must be a decision on the report. Obviously, if we were to be in a joint sitting, it would be a joint debate and then decisions would have to be taken later on by the houses. But in this instance, the NA will debate, adopt, and the NCOP will have a debate and also adopt the report. It's the same report, both houses. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Klaso. Honorable members, further comments? None? Okay, then what that means, we've come to the end of the report on the draft parliamentary program. Any announcements, Mr. Klaso?
Madam Speaker, the only announcement is that at 9, just 1 minute to go, we're starting the joint program committee, same link, so we don't have to get out of this platform. The joint program committee is starting shortly.
It's 9 o'clock now. Mr. Klaso, you're not even giving people 5 minutes breather. Okay.
Ma'am, we may just check if the NCOP honorable members are already logged in. We can just take a break if they are not yet. The chair, I don't see the chair yet, the NCOP. So we'll have to wait for the NCOP honorable members. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Klaso. Honorable members, thank you very much. We've now come to the end of our first meeting of the NAPC. We will now have a joint programming committee as soon as the NCOP members, as soon as they join us. Thank you very much, honorable members. We may move mute for now. Mr. Klaso will alert us at this time. Thanks.